Up in the mountains of Georgia, where Europe meets Asia, a very important and very controversial new highway is currently being built. It's an immense project that expands a key trade route between Russia and Armenia by bypassing a road that becomes pretty much impassable in winter, leaving locals stranded. With soaring bridges and a record-breaking tunnel, the project is littered with epic engineering and promises plenty of positives. But look a little deeper below the surface and you'll find some reasons for concern. Some see this as a threat to what's always been a quiet, peaceful region and a danger to nearby heritage sites. Others are unsure about closer links with Russia following the invasion of Ukraine. With China in charge of the projects and funding coming from several sources, many are going to be expecting a return on their investment. So, is this actually something that's going to benefit the people of Georgia first and foremost? Or is there more to it than meets the eye? This is the Khada Valley in Georgia. That's the country in Europe, not the US state. With a landscape of deep gorges and ancient towers, it sits on the edge of the Caucasus Mountains between the Black and Caspian Seas. Now, communities have been living here since the Neolithic times, and it's a region that's really rich with historic sites.
The Khada Valley is the very small valley. It's located very close from the capital. It's like 60 kilometers. And it's unique in terms of its cultural heritage.
Milena Kokladze is the Human Rights and Democratization Lead at Bankwatch. It's a network of groups in Central and Eastern Europe that monitors how banks and other funds invest in projects like infrastructure.
The people are very much attached to this valley in Teoleti, which is like part of Georgia, and people are continuing the traditions which has been for centuries existing here.
But it's not all peace and quiet here. This area is home to the S3 highway. It's the only road connecting Georgia with Russia, a country it has a very complicated history with, and it runs up through these mountains. Some still call it by its old name, the Georgian Military Road, which follows a route used by traders and invaders throughout history. Today, the road is part of a key transport corridor running all the way from Russia to Armenia, which shares a border with Iran. When it's actually open, that is, because in winter, due to extreme snowfall and frequent landslides, it can become completely blocked. From 2012 to 2016, it was shut for over a month each year on average, and it struggles to cope with the more than 3,000 vehicles that use it every day. Long queues of trucks trying to cross the border into Russia are not uncommon, and locals are completely cut off when it's out of action, which is why this massive bypass is being built around the worst affected area. Given that severe snowfall and avalanches have historically been a part of the problem, half of this new highway is being built underground. That means drivers can steer clear of the winter shutdown and the dangers it poses. Now, as we're about to see, this new road has become quite a divisive topic, and the same can kind of be said for many construction projects worldwide. It means there are often multiple sides to a story that should be taken into account. That's why we've teamed up with Straight Arrow News to bring you this video. Straight Arrow News is a place that offers unbiased, fact-based news that provides a clear alternative to more traditional partisan outlets. They strive to deliver fair and balanced reporting, and in case you need convincing, they have the evidence to back it up. Their rating on the independent media classification site All Sides has them placed firmly in the centre. But it's not just news. You'll get expert commentary and analysis too. And to ensure maximum transparency, Straight Arrow News even declares any biases that their commentators may have. Oh, and to top it all off, it's completely free, meaning you can start browsing straight away. So if you want the news without the spin, go and check out Straight Arrow News today over at san.com/B1M or by clicking the link in the description. Welcome back to Trustworthy Journalism. Now, let's get back to those snowy mountains and find out more about this new highway. Named after the villages that sit at each end, the new Kvesheti-Kobi road is going to be 23 kilometers long, including 6 bridges and 5 tunnels. One of which, at 9 kilometers, will become the longest tunnel in Georgia. But length wasn't the only record broken here when digging completed in 2024. At 15 meters, the tunnel boring machine made specially for the job is the largest diameter TBM with a single shield ever built for hard rock areas. That's according to one of the Chinese companies handling the construction, the China Railway Tunnel Group. They claim it was the fastest too, moving as much as 426 meters per month despite weighing almost 4,000 tons. In fact, the TBM made such rapid progress carving its route, carrying the rubble out, and lining the interior all at the same time that it was able to finish a month ahead of schedule. That's especially impressive given it had to navigate through multiple different types of ground, not just the hard variety. Most of the rock was actually marl, which is a softer rock consisting of clay and lime, and tuff, which is made from volcanic ash. Yes, you heard that right. Just next to the new tunnel is an inactive volcano which must have erupted at some point in the past. Ash, you can see from this map, geological tests revealed large areas of black shale to the west of the new route. That's one of the main reasons it was chosen ahead of other alternatives. The bridges, being built by the same Chinese firm, have presented some massive engineering challenges. When the road passes the village of Zakakari, it needs to cross a wide section of the valley, and it does it with this 432-metre arch bridge. Although work on it is yet to begin, the structure is going to have a 285-metre span, a 51-metre height, and it'll be built using the cantilever construction method. Elsewhere on the route is another bridge that's been making a bit of progress. Almost a kilometre in length, it can be found at the southern end of the new road where it passes over the White Aragavi River before it enters another tunnel. Now, the question that might be burning in your mind at this point is, what's in it for China? Well, Georgia is part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, which is a strategy to better connect Asia, Africa and Europe with Chinese-built infrastructure. By 2023, over 200 agreements have been signed with more than 150 countries under the Belt and Road scheme, requiring hundreds of billions of dollars in Chinese loans. Now, Georgia's position right here, where the continents meet, makes it an attractive place to continue that mission. The partnership between these two countries might have led to some pretty impressive-looking engineering, but not everyone believes it's entirely in Georgia's best interests.
China is not investing in Georgia, but what they are doing, the Chinese companies are tendering and winning most of the public procurement in this country since maybe last decade, which is quite concerning situation, I would say, in terms of the quality of the deliverables.
That's because of what's already gone down over on the East-West Highway, another project that China's been delivering in Georgia, which is going to have 53 tunnels of its own. Back in 2023, contractors were accused of being unprepared for the landslides that disrupted construction. There were strikes over working conditions and pay, and even some fatal accidents. Fortunately, there haven't been any similar reports on the Kvesheti-Kobi road. After the TBM broke through on the main tunnel, Georgia's Prime Minister said, "We are happy that this project has been implemented in cooperation with the Chinese company, which did a very good job." But enough about China. Let's get back to what the benefits of this project could be for Georgia. Once it completes, at the end of 2025, drivers are going to be able to go from kvesheti-kobi and around that troublesome area in just 15 minutes. Right now, it's a journey that takes about an hour, so that's quite a big time saving. It's going to ensure quicker, safer trips without disruption for those travelling along the full corridor and the nearby residents. People in the small villages to the north have been told they're going to gain access to Tbilisi and other cities across Georgia all year round. Plus, an extra 5 kilometres of rural access roads designed to be usable in all weathers has been promised for the locals, as well as a new visitor centre to try and make this spot more attractive to tourists. So, we know which countries are set to primarily gain from this project and that China is doing the building work. But where's the money coming from? The project is expected to cost up to $500 million, with most of that loaned from the Asian Development Bank, or ADB. The rest comes from Georgia's government and another loan from the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. As well as putting up most of the cash, the ADB has also given some extra support to help the project comply with environmental requirements. That includes an impact assessment and monitoring report. That's because the consequences of this new road on the local area have been a major talking point since it was first put forward, and when you take a look around, you can kind of see why. It's been referred to as the most beautiful place on Earth, an area that's been mostly untouched by tourism up until this point. Then you've got the historic sites. There are dozens of medieval towers and churches still standing here, some of which are visible from the existing road. It's believed there are many artifacts buried out of sight. However, despite those measures to try and limit the environmental impacts, they have actually created some concerns.
One of the major problems of this project was that environmental impact assessment was badly prepared. Also, the cultural heritage was very badly studied. They find out only 34 cultural objects, and after a number of the complaints, the new research reveals additional 155 material objects and lots of the archaeological findings.
In total, more than 200 monuments and objects were identified in the Khada Valley and Kobi, and over 100 of those were found to be in the project's zone of influence. That's far more than was originally reported. A cultural heritage action plan was then carried out, which gave recommendations on how each should be protected and conserved, from building fences to monitoring vibrations. Despite this, several objects were still flagged as being at risk of being damaged or destroyed by the project, which hasn't turned out to be as popular with everyone after all. According to reports, some villagers say they weren't fully informed about the scale of the noise, pollution and other factors, as well as the proximity of this project to homes and buildings. And then there's the big player in all this. Russia. The new road might offer a boost to trade that both countries would welcome, but could there be a bit more to it than that? To say that Georgia and Russia have a complicated relationship is a serious understatement. Russia still occupies around 20% of Georgia's territory following the Russo-Georgian War of 2008. And a decade before that, there was the Abkhazia War. Russia's shocking invasion of Ukraine in 2022 has left many Georgians feeling uneasy about a quicker, easier route into their country from the north.
The Caucasian mountain is like natural border, or secured border with Russia, for Georgia, which is living for more than 200 years under the threat of the Russians' military exercise. It's really problematic, also psychologically. Do it really needed to have the high-speed road towards Russia? Maybe it was desire of the Iran or, I don't know, China, but why the Georgian people should pay for that?
Passing through one of the world's most breathtaking places, the kvesheti-kobi road promises a great deal, and it's overcome some remarkable challenges. With the current route no longer fit for purpose on its own, Georgia pulled out all the stops to get this crucial new detour moving towards completion. But with other bigger nations and lenders all expecting to gain something from it, this project has been dividing opinion. There could certainly be some more twists and turns to come yet. This video was sponsored by Straight Arrow News. You can learn more about that at the link below. Don't forget that we're inspiring the next generation of builders through our investment into BrickBorrow, a fantastic LEGO subscription service. You can learn more and get started today over at brickborrow.com. And as always guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to get more from the definitive video channel for construction, make sure you're subscribed to the B1M.